Welcome to another in the series, Sip and Chat, a place where we talk about the goodness of the Lord in the land of the living. It's our pleasure this afternoon to be coming into your homes and to be talking about the goodness of the Lord. Welcome to another in the series, Sip and Chat, a place where we examine life issues, those that affect our mind, our soul, our bodies, our spirit, just looking at man as a whole person. And this afternoon, I just want to engage you for the time that we'll be here on a very, very important issue that I believe that can be so transformational as you go throughout life. Again, my name is Dr. Leleith Tomlinson, and I'm a counseling psychologist and a life coach. What do we want to talk about today? I reflected over the last week on this topic, unearthing gems. This will be the launch pad for a new series that we'll be seeking to explore. Unearthing gems. What does the word unearth mean? Unearth means to dig up, to exhume, or to discover, or to make to sparkle. Unearth, to discover, to expose. What does the word gem mean? Gems are usually referred to, are described precious stones that are found deep beneath the earth's surface. Or it's usually used to describe someone who has accomplished something or a place that is very beautiful. Now, a lot of times when we reflect on persons who have accomplished a lot, we always see them at the end of their journey. Very often, we don't know how they started. And so my task here today is to seek to help us to understand that diamonds don't always just appear on the surface. In fact, very rare are precious stones just found on the surface. Many times, precious stones such as those found in Australia, which is the opal, Africa, we have lots of diamonds, Sri Lanka has sapphire, rubies, and many more. We have emeralds in Brazil, and we also have emeralds in Colombia. United States, we have a lot of sleeping beauty turquoise. Tanzania has what we call the tanzanites, and in Dominican Republic, we have deposits of Larimar. And there are many other places where precious metals and stones can be found. But very rare are those precious gems found on the surface. The process usually involves digging deep beneath the earth's surface to expose, to discover, or to unbury these precious gems. I want to align this process to individuals as it relates to coming into your fullness. Quite often, when persons have children, if your child is very structured, some people say, well, that from he was a young child, he was always very structured. He knew he wanted to be a doctor. He would go to the library and he would read books. He would do his assignments. He would get excellent grades. So it's almost as if that child is earmarked for success because of the trajectory that their life is on. People say, yes, man, he's going to be good. And yes, man. But today, I want to say to some of our viewers, parents or young adults, who you have been through so many struggles that you are almost labeling yourself as a failure because you have not yet been discovered. And to be discovered means you have not yet come into your full potential or even realized your true worth. The only person you are destined to become, based on what is said by Ralph Waldo Emerson, is that the only person that you're destined to become is the person that you're that you have destined in your mind that you want to be. That's very important. It's never about the start. One artist, popular artist, he says, watch the finish. Many persons are very focused on your beginning. And so if you don't blossom and come forth in the immediacy of how they would like it to be, then they judge you and they write you off. But this afternoon's programs is intended to really encourage someone who is still beneath the surface. There are many untapped potential that is still within you. And so that's the kind of consciousness that you need to come into today, because greatness lies ahead, but you will have to take a certain path. Just like the gems, the precious stones, the rubies, the emerald, the sapphire, They're within the earth. People probably pass along that path, never discovered them, but they are there. So I say to you today, what lies within? And in many of you, there lies the next greatest lawyer that the world has ever seen, not just Jamaica. Don't set those boundaries. The greatest artist that the world has ever seen, the greatest writer. There is so much that lies within us, but is still yet untapped. But time will unfold the beauty and the potential that lies within. But you have got to know how to dig deep inside of you. Now, I want to say this, that sometimes in the drilling process, I'm sure that those miners, they become discouraged. It's only natural that as we go through life, we're going to encounter what we refer to as roadblocks. Those are real. But it is the roadblocks that serves to help to enhance the strength of character that lies within us. And so if we never had struggles, we wouldn't know how powerful our muscles are. So not because there are mountains in front of you, not because you're having challenges at this moment. Focus on the end game. Focus on the end game. There is this very exciting show that came out a few years ago that's referred to Squid Game. The focus of the game was always to focus on the end. The process to be the winner is going to be very gruesome, very inflict some pain on your body, but focus on the end result. You must know where you're going. And the truth is that all of us, a group of you could be going to the same place, but you're going to take different routes. Don't become overwhelmed and discouraged because your path, your course seems a little bit more has more potholes and so on than your neighbor. No, embrace your journey, embrace your challenges, because there is a lot that is inside of you. So even as we pass through this period of the pandemic, I know that there are many persons who became very discouraged. They became very overwhelmed. They have probably even given up on their dreams. I say, get the drill. Start drilling, because greatness still lies within. The gold is still yet to come forward. I can imagine when the drillers are going into, I brought with me on the set today, this glass, this glass bowl. I can imagine when those miners and those persons are drilling and they're going down. It takes a lot of guts. Sometimes they will drill for miles and they won't find anything, but they know the end game. They know they've already done their survey, and they know that this place is full of potential. People might look and they might see a swamp. They might see an area that is covered with greenery, but they know that deep within the surface lies precious gems. Today, many persons will try to assess you because all they can currently see is the surface. They just see these stones. But there's someone who knows that deep within this roughness, deep within what seems like just mere debris and so on, lies greatness. So don't give up on yourself. The discovery of gemstones all around the world, they begin as minerals, they begin as rock, organic formations, and they become desirous over time. Time is important. And they become important not because they necessarily look like others, but they become important because of their uniqueness. Again, speaking to our viewers about embracing your own journey. These precious gems, they increase in value because of their rarity, because of the distribution of the color proportions, the phenomena, the shines, the inclusions. These are the things that make them different, where they're found. And I thought it was so important when I did this research that even as we talk about precious unearthing gems, that sometimes our gems might not be found in the original location, but they're found in what we call secondary locations. So sometimes life experiences have a way to transport you from your comfort zone and take you to a place where you feel, wow, how did I get here? But once you remain focused on the end game, you will be successful because you know that you are you're in the process of discovery. And that is going to be so very, very important as we examine and we understand what is it that the Lord has in store for us. I want to remind us that the Lord told us in Jeremiah that long before we were born, He knew us. He fashioned us. We are not a mistake. We're not an accident. I don't care how the zygote was formed with the egg. That is not what is important right now. The fact is that you are here and you are going to maximize your current existence on planet Earth. It is said that one of the richest places on earth is a graveyard. You know why? Because a lot of people die with hidden potentials, with hidden dreams and hidden goals. Why? Because they were afraid to even utter that which was inside of them. Today, my focus is to unearth the gems, to discover the hidden potential that is inside of you, to let you know that you're purposeful. God has you here for a meaningful reason. Don't be caught up in the challenges that seem to mitigate against your future success. Press, press, push. And remember the little gem that says, if at first you don't succeed, try and try again. But how do you discover the gems that are inside of you? I did a few programs a few series ago when I talk about the silence. Take yourself away from the crowd. Listen to that inner voice. What is it that excites you? What is it that is your dreams? Listen to the voice that is inside of you. And then step two, make a conscious effort to do. You know, I've heard stories about many persons who started on their journey and they went to a place, and when they knocked for a job, they were told there were no vacancies. But persistency saw them going back not only once, but twice and thrice, fourth, even a fifth time. So the key is to always maintain the end goal. Know what it is that you want. Your diamond is within, but you've got to get past all that is within this to get to the gem that is beneath. You have to understand that greater is He that is inside of you. Your dreams, your aspirations, your goals, they are within you. You are the only person that can abort your destiny. Yes, people can say things about you, but then every time something negative is uttered, you have got to know how to intercept those negative thoughts, those negative utterances with the positive thoughts that says, Philippians 4 verse 13, that says, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me, reaffirming that He knew you. You're purposeful beings, and you must always embrace that. I want to say to you that you must always set your milestones, not the milestones that other persons have of you, but set your own milestones. You see, people want us sometimes to feel discouraged because we are not achieving at the rate that they want us to achieve. As I said earlier on, sometimes I can imagine those miners, they might discover an area that they did their research and it said to them that, you know, gold is here and some other metals are around. But sometimes if you watch some of those movies, you'll recognize that sometimes you'll hear a shout over one side that says, well, hey, we found something, while these miners were still digging. But guess what? Once they were convinced that within this area there was still gold, not because they heard a shout over yonder, they're going to give up their area. No, they know what they're convinced about. So they will continue to dig. Be convinced about yourself. Don't give up on you. Don't give up on you. Even when everybody else has given up on you, don't give up on you. Right where you are this evening in your couch, I want you to reaffirm that you're a promise. You're a possibility. You are a bundle of potentiality. Don't give up on you. So make a conscious choice to pursue your personal goals. But remember, first of all, you must know what those goals are. And I'll say to persons sometimes, you have to be careful who you share your goals with. Because some people can just see you for who you are today. They can only see they can't even see the diamond. They can only see the rough, right? So you have to be careful. The decision to change and the decision to grow is a powerful one. It can help you to move forward. And if you don't embrace it, it can serve to stagnate you. So make a decision that you'll pursue your growth, personal growth. Start reading books, blogs, stretching yourself, listen to audiobooks, or attend seminars with other like minded people. One of the things I want to say to us today as we listen to this session of empowerment, begin to imagine who is it that you'd like to be like. If you're a great speaker, or you believe that within you there is a great speaker, begin to listen to tapes from great speakers like Miles Monroe, those great orators. Listen to them. See what brought them success. And then in your own space, begin to practice. Practice becomes perfect. It is also within your own space that you begin to build your confidence. And then you can begin to build your audience of one, then your audience of two, until you have a great area that you can stand before a great audience and perform. So take your baby steps and work towards them. All things are possible. Just think about it. Who is it that you currently see that has achieved that you'd like to be? And begin to mimic that person. And mimicking means you begin to try to understand their own story. What is it that caused them to excel? How did they become so famous? How did they become so popular? And begin to practice some of those skills. You see, the great cities that we see around the world, they did not just evolve, but they were built brick by brick by brick by brick. And I've seen times when I looked at a wall and I thought it was perfect. But in the eyes of the great architect, he will say, no, I see a defect. You see, sometimes life will slow us down and we will get overwhelmed because we think to ourselves, wow, why did this happen? I was just this close to my success. But sometimes there is one who is greater, who knows that there's more to you than you currently see. And so the flaws has got to go so that you can blossom into your fullness. It's very easy to get aimless when you don't have a concrete goal. When you're moving towards and you can't seem to have that fixity of purpose, you can become distracted. Narrowing on what you'd like to accomplish in the near future. Maybe it's just to get started. Start your own business or clear your debts. The point is to set specific goals about what exactly you'd like to do. And ask yourself, if I knew it, I could have failed. And what if I fail? I did try. But even if I fail, I will try again. Those kinds of positive mind talk is very, very important. Keep a success list. This is sometimes we just want to see everything. We're very existentialist. It's here and now. I want it here and now. And we have come up in what we refer to as a microwave generation, where we like to pop in and pop out. But no, some of our dreams, man, they're like real serious wood fire. The dream is there, but every now and then we have to glow, we have to fan it up, we have to infuse some positive thoughts. Sometimes we have to go for help. I recall when I just got through to go to university back in the 1990s. I was excited to go to university, very, very excited. But I remember as a young girl coming from, outside of the city, when I got to the university, I just felt that I didn't belong. I saw people who had friends and they were fraternizing and they were talking to each other. And I just felt, you know what? I didn't belong here. If I was just like wanting to just go there and feel like, yes, got the stamp of approval, I would not have been able to accomplish a thing because I would have stopped a long time ago. But I recall when I came after the first few days going to university, went back to my mentor at the time, Jo Marie Powell, and I said to her when she asked me, how was it today? I said to her, I'm never going back. I don't feel a part of this. I was used to my circles. I was used to knowing who was the next person beside me. I knew people around me. No, I was in a large space and I knew absolutely no one. But you know what? She looked me straight in the eye and she said, don't even try to embrace that thought. So, what am I saying to you today? Challenges will come to cause you to want to detour, but don't retreat, don't surrender, refire, go forward. You have some of these tires on the road sometimes, and they get bad. No, they don't throw them away. They rethread them and they get more usage out of them. So some of you, you might be going through a bad patch right now in life. Things are not flowing the way that they're supposed to be. Sometimes you actually feel like you're swimming downstream instead of going upstream. But this afternoon's program is to tell somebody you are still on course to destiny. You are still en route to greatness. They always say Rome wasn't built in a day. Rome was a great city. You are still under construction. That's very important. I reflect on a Bible passage that I think about Peter. Peter was a very hot tempered disciple. He used to say some things that were so like, Peter, where did you get that from? He was one of those persons, but when they came to arrest Jesus, he was the first person who pulled out his sword and cut off the ear of the soldier. Very, very unorthodox in his ways. But you know what? Jesus saw in Peter what nobody else saw. I recall in the Bible, there was a time when Jesus said, who do men say I am? Trying to get a perspective of how he was perceived. I'm sure, a lot of persons thought they had the right answers, because they were seen as the stars in their own eyes. And so they got up and they gave their views. Some said that thou art Elias, some said that thou art the prophet. They gave all kinds of views. So, Peter, he wasn't seen as the gem, he wasn't seen as the star. But then, in his own little way, when he was asked, he said, thou art the Christ, the Son of the living God. Guess what? Peter was the one who got the approval of the Lord. Jesus said to Peter, Peter, flesh and blood did not reveal that to you. The same hot-tempered Peter, the same Peter who would laugh at and say, Peter, don't say another word. So a lot of times we beat up on ourselves because we don't look like the other person, we don't sound like the other person, we're taking a long time to get to our goals. I say to us this afternoon, you're a diamond in the rough. Don't give up on yourself. Don't beat up on yourself. And that doesn't mean that you're going to settle for mediocre either. It just means that for some people, they get it in 2 seconds, but for you, you might take a longer time, but you're going to get there. Don't give up on yourself. Somebody said, don't give up on me. He's still working on me, making me what I ought to be. The only person that can be hard on us and we don't repent and we don't get to the next level is ourselves. Because what happens is that sometimes when we have failures, when we have challenges, we really bury ourselves deep because we didn't get it right the first time. I am saying to someone this afternoon, you don't have to get it right the first time. When you used to go to school and you get a math problem and you go to Miss and she'd put an X on it. Sometimes she wouldn't even put an X on it. Some people like to put an X on us. But sometimes our teachers will say to us, go back, look at those numbers again and tell me how did you arrive at this answer. And then it is in that process under construction, it is that process of going back, taking up back the paper, said, all right, let me start over again. And you start to add again, and then you recognize that you made a mistake. A lot of you are going to come into your wow moment when you said, okay, so this has been where I've been getting it wrong all along. Then that's when you're going to step up to the plate now and move forward into your destiny. Greatness lies within you. A lot of us, we have layers of issues, but we're going to get there, and we will get there. Surround yourself with positive people, as I said before. Read about the stories of great people. Don't give up on you. And I always remind you of one of my favorite memory gems that says the heights of great men reached and kept. They were not attained by sudden flight. Yeah, gems they were. They were not attained by sudden flight. Not only, if I should add my own portion to it, while they toiled and sweat, they had sessions of discouragement, but they kept pressing and toiling upward through the night. You are still under construction. The Lord is still bulldozing in your life, taking out the things that don't belong, because where you're going, your character has got to line up with everything that you need to be. See, your gift will take your places, but it's your character that's going to keep you. So yes, we would like to have it happen now. We wonder why. Why has life given me this? But a lot of people say it's not over until the fat lady sings. I don't even know who is that lady. But I say it's not over until God says it's over. And it's also not over until you decide that this is the end. Your greatest enemy sometimes is your inner you, that inner voice that keeps telling you that you're too late. They call sometimes they call us late bloomers. Guess what? You still bloom, and many persons will bloom before you. But where are they today? Don't give up on you. As I said before, God is still working on you to make you what you ought to be. The next time that you think about a glass of wine, whether it be red or white, think about how did it get to that stage. The grapes, they had to be crushed, they had to be mulched, they had to go through a process. But what many people see is a glass of wine sparkling. They take it up and they turn it around and they smell it and everything and they will say, wow, age like, it's what it says, age like fine wine. It's a process. So this afternoon on Sip and Chat, I want to say to somebody, there's a hidden treasure that lies inside of you. Don't give up on yourself. Greatness still lies ahead. If today you don't succeed, try and try again. Don't become your worst enemy. Become your best friend. Begin champion your cause because greatness is still possible. On behalf of the team here, once again, thank you for joining us here on Sip and Chat. Watch you finish. Thank you.